The topic I would like to speak about today is that of Martin Luther King Jr., a prominent historical figure in the United States history. Martin Luther King Jr. is known as an activist. He was an African American scholar, a Christian man. He became a minister who worked in the days when racism was on the rise. There were issues with segregation, and therefore one of his aims was to help abolish the laws associated with race segregation. The narratives surrounding King were that he was a family man, sought to work to help others in need, and was involved in numerous public protests that he sometimes was jailed for. Martin Luther King Jr., born January 15, 1929, and died April 4, 1968, was born Michael Luther King Jr., but later had his name changed to Martin, says Nobel Prize. Activists formed the Montgomery Improvement Association to boycott the transit system and chose King as their leader, says Britannica. King was noted as a co-organizer of protests, and he cooperated with groups to achieve their goals set out in meetings. He cooperated with others to form alliances that would help construct plans to get their combined points across to the powers that be. The first signs of opposition to King's tactics from the civil rights movement surfaced during the March 1965 demonstrations in Selma, Alabama. The march was organized to address the issue of African Americans' federal voting rights laws. March 7, the marchers were turned back by state troopers with nightsticks and tear gas. This was captured on television, known as Bloody Sunday, says Britannica. In 1957, King, Ralph Abernathy, Fred Shuttlesworth, Joseph Lowery, and other activists founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. The group consisted of the Big Five of civil rights organizations, including NAACP, the National Urban League, the Student Nonviolence Coordinating Committee, and the Congress on Racial Equality, says Britannica. King is most significantly influenced by the personalist philosophies of both the Black Church and the intellectual tradition of Boston personalism that developed from the work of Borden Parker Bound. King's metaphysical perspective is anchored in three important components: a personal God as the source of value, the sacredness of all persons, and a relational ontology according to which the well-being of persons is interrelated, says Nicholas Buck. Today, Martin Luther King Jr. has a day named after him, 15th of January, where he is widely celebrated for his accomplishments throughout his career. He is one of the top African American figures, and his scholarly speeches are mentioned in many professional events. In the past, there was criticism, but King being arrested and jailed, his inclination to be rebellious, his criticism of the system, and that he was thought to be straying away from his ministry. In conclusion, King was influential in his endeavors to change the way the system works. And that is why many African Americans can live the way they do today. Although he was appreciated in his time, King was not nearly as celebrated as he is today. The narrative surrounding his controversial career and strategies has gone through numerous transformations over time, and therefore people have learned to embrace the true merits of his actions for what he has been able to accomplish.